Everyone to Felicity Joy. And I am actually the guest interviewer today. I've
Cool.
always, I've, I like to interview people, but I've always wanted to interview you, turn the tables around and interview you. And when I watched you, Felicity Joy, uh, travel out. This is just the social media view now. Going to CPAC and a lot of the images and things you were sharing about your experience, I thought this is the opportunity to go ahead and interview you. So we're just trusting God today. Again, my name is Jess Olivito. I'm a longtime friend of Felicity's. I'm also a minister. I have a small business. I own a restaurant with my husband, a bunch of stuff. But really, I'm just a daughter of the king. And I am interested in hearing more about, if you don't mind, Felicity, just unpacking for us, like, I don't know, I guess just start at the beginning when you got there or whatever you want to tell us about the wonderful experiences you had there. I was just jealous watching.
It was really incredible, and from the moment that I arrived, um, I've sort of approached divine appointments as sort of a special, sort of miraculous event. There was just divine appointment after divine appointment after divine appointment after divine appointment, and I felt like I had stepped into a flow that really was an invitation to a season of my life. Um, it honestly began as I've kind of been shouting out about my new coach Joaquin Flores, the work that he did with me, and actually, truth be told, the day before I left for Orlando, we had our first session, which was not a session; it was an assessment, but it was life changing. The assessment. I'm like, I'm done. I don't need the other 12, whatever. But
You were like, you complete me already.
pretty much, you had me at hello,
Got
that
it.
kind of thing. But no, it just there was just something that was unlocked, and it was really like a veil that was lifted. I if people have seen me in a networking space, that I kind of come alive in that situation. However, to truth be told, there's been a thin veil over my personality, which was born out of fear. And the fear was, and I haven't talked in depth because it's a hard issue to talk in depth about, but I do have a background of a sexual addiction. And so in my so I kind of, when I was out there, I was like, I think I'm just naturally kind of a flirt, but I'm not meaning any harm by it. But my coach has encouraged me to say I'm very outgoing, like I'm just really extroverted and I'm engaging. But that was just actually just frightening to me. So there was just like kind of a thin veil over, which would bring insecurity at bad moments and things like that. So I'd actually heard from Bevel and Beatty as well as others that CPAC was a bit of a meat market. So I
Really?
was a little, yeah. So I was nervous going into that. Now imagine that, it's not just minorities that are somewhat secluded in being a conservative. You know this. You're somewhat secluded in your views as well as in being outspoken about those views.
Right.
And so this is one time where every person you see is like-minded. And so I think for that reason, people think, hey, something might be able to happen here. A. B, 50% of the people who come are kind of young. So then they've already got that energy going. You know what I mean? Maybe mom and dad even sent them or whatever, but because Charlie Kirk has just brought a lot into that crowd. So anyway, a little nervous about that on my end, to be honest. And I really felt like a freedom after my after several sessions with him, the ones I did on Instagram, as well as the private one that we had done. And he prayed for me, and I just felt ready to go. So
That's what happens when we confess the vulnerabilities that we have.
yeah,
And that takes us by surprise sometimes.
yeah,
And when we do that and we step out in that faith, there can be immediate deliverance, but and I believe that's what happened for you. But of course, just because you have a deliverance doesn't mean when you go back into a situation, you're not. And again, other awesome Christians that you value are telling you this is a great thing to go to. You really, need to connect with more people. But, you hear that it's a meat market. You're like, wait, what?
yeah, yes.
Because that might not make sense to everybody else,
And I've had a lot of deliverance in this particular area, but there's levels, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so
Awesome.
this sort of level of just being able to really be myself
Yeah.
in a networking space, meeting new people and stuff. And so anyway, I just hit the ground running. I just loosed myself of that fear, and it was just divine appointment after divine appointment. Now, actually, interestingly, one of the first divine appointments was kind of a challenge to the healing, meaning that this man who actually had been on one of my shows before, he was excited to meet me, but the way he approached me, like it was overbearing. And so when I saw him the next time, I was a little standoffish. He's like, "What's up?" And I said, "You approached me in full on heat. Like you like all but lifted your leg. Like, dude, seriously." And so what I learned from that situation is, wait, I'm really good at handling these situations. Like, even if it doesn't, even if someone misinterprets my energy, which that's not what happened. He
Right.
came his own. But even if someone does, I'm really good at handling this. And then I just learned, in situations that had nothing to do with any type of attraction, I'm just really good at this. It was just a coming alive, and it was very exciting because I just realized, like, for example, I really like shows like The Voice, and I like Dancing with the Stars. But The Voice I really love. The backs are turned and you go and you discover. And so I like when I watch these shows, I like just finding those things that have that it thing, that thing that you then, oh, what is that? I don't know. I thought of the word this morning when I woke up, the phrase je ne sais quoi. I haven't heard that phrase in a while. Have you ever heard that?
Never. So to me, I thought of this phrase. Say it again.
Je ne sais quoi. It's French,
It sounds it.
but I didn't know what it meant. I
No.
just heard when I was younger, maybe people would use it. They would say she has a certain je ne sais quoi, and I've heard that a lot. But I didn't know what it meant, so I looked it up. It means what is it? She has like a what is it? We don't know what to call it. What is it?
You do.
And as a minister, you may know that is also the meaning of the word manna.
Oh.
Manna means what is it? Like, we don't know what
Mm.
this is. It's just kind of like any miracle. You just kind of, I don't know how that happened. What is it? I don't even know what is it. Anyway, so I looked that up this morning. I was like, but so I like watching these shows because I'm looking for it. What is that? They get that thing. They get that it thing. So what I'm saying is I like found it in me this weekend. I was like, I have that. I do that.
I think I've heard of it called like a moxie or something. But what you said is more beautiful. I
It
like
is, right?
it
It's like,
one more time for me.
je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi.
She has
Oh,
a certain je ne sais quoi.
oh,
French
spell
isn't
that
good.
later.
It's okay. I will. I will. I was like, I hope Google can pick this up phonetically because I don't know French. So I'm just putting in stuff. I have to try to find it. So yeah. And then it was really cool because I met this girl. She was so much fun, and she has met Trump 4 times. And she's in Latinos for Trump. She's in California or whatever, but she met him. He actually pulled her on stage in Vegas. And I saw that rally. I saw that moment. And I'm like, now I'm meeting you. Oh my God.
Right.
She's met him 4 separate times. And one of the times, the day that he pulled her on stage, she saw him before the rally. And I can't remember the other, but they had these like little interactions, and one of them, which was kind of cute, was he had walked away from her. They had said something, and he just walked. He was going to the stage or going where he was going, and she called his name, President Trump, and like a bunch of people were calling his name, but he turned around, looked her dead in the eye, and he just walked real quickly up to her and put his ear by her mouth, and she was like, freaking out. She forgot what she wanted to say originally. And she said, I really want to work for your campaign. And he like turned his head and goes, call my office. and see, when she said that, like, it just resonated with me, because that's the type of stuff I was doing all weekend.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, that's me. That's how I am, to be able to engage. Now, listen, if she was to sit there and really think he wanted to leave Melania, that's her idiocy. He's just being cute,
Right.
He's being engaged
Right.
with a fan. I mean, you have to not be an idiot, you know what I'm saying? But it just was like this mirror to me as well. Like, yeah, I have that. Like, I've been doing that. Like, I have that effect on people all weekend. I don't know. It was just this real, like,
Oh,
coming
goody.
alive thing that was super fun for me. And I just, was very excited about.
So you literally had as big of a blast as it looked like in the pictures.
Yes. Like, one that I was able to capture it in the pictures, how much fun that I was having being myself.
Well, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, you are a well-educated woman. And if you think about it, you really have always been really good with other people. You just needed to get in some different circles,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. And again, like, being absolutely where I'm meant to be, but also without that veil. Because I'm telling you,
Yep.
it's
Okay.
it's a thin difference, but it's something I felt on the inside. And it's a place where I'm doing this, but like anything could kind of set me off, because I'm on
Okay.
the edge of it. I was in the center of this doggone thing this whole weekend. I was on 10
Wow.
about it. So yeah, and so I had a big moment. I did talk about it online a little bit, or I I did a post where I was in the media room for the first time. And so this is something Stephanie told me has never happened, where they had the media separated from the conference. And just, full disclosure, if you get approved for a media pass, you don't pay. So anyone with a blog out there, I mean, if you apply. But with COVID and with this being a much smaller venue than what they've had in the past when they do it in Maryland, we were not allowed in the room. And so, but I'm in this media room actually with a bunch of pissed off people. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one that it's my first year, but a lot of people there that are not used to this type of treatment.
Sure.
So I'm telling you, it wasn't really a great atmosphere, but I was so happy. And it came back to me, my dreams of when I was a little girl wanting to be a newscaster. I just felt all of that. It was all happening. And I just loved being in that room. I just loved being with the media, even though these are pissed off people. It was a somber atmosphere, but not me. I'm so happy. And so I'm sitting in the media room, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm gonna have a booth. We're gonna have a Black conservative female media booth, because OANN is there, and Newsmax is there, and Fox News, and a bunch of others that were able to pay the I don't know how many thousands of dollars. And I'm like, I'm gonna have one of those. I am legit gonna have one of those next year. And I was noticing the lineup. And so you had Kathy Barnett said the pledge, and then on the very last day you had 3 Black conservative females on the stage. But I mean, there's room. There were a whole lot more speakers than that. Now, I want to say with pride that there were a number of Black men, not just talking about Black issues either. That was super cool. So you just had doctors, like you legit just had lawyers and people from other spheres talking. So that was great representation. And I'm very excited that the men are leading in this conservative movement, that the Black men are leading. But anyway, the point is there's room. And I just envision me and the other hosts going from the stage to our media booth. And we're just going to be able to, cover it. And another confirmation that I got of that was the women that spoke that last day. And so there has been a pendulum swing, you could say, in the representation, going from Candace Owens, who honestly, and they brought it up without bringing up her name, she is a Black person that caters to a certain demographic, a lot of which is not Black.
Right.
Okay. So she's a Black voice, but a lot of people you can hardly find a white person that doesn't like her.
Sure.
Not hard to find a Black person that doesn't like her. Now, I'm not one of those. I like her. But, you could almost go, 50-50 is generous, probably, in the conservative movement.
Okay.
And none of the women on that stage care for her.
Interesting.
So there was a real pendulum swing. And I'll even send it to you, Jess. I'll put the link in the comments, because I would recommend that everyone watch that last session. It was the best. It wasn't a breakout. It was a panel. It was the best panel we had. It was awesome. And they were basically talking about where has the conservative movement missed it? Okay. Why are we still, hey, 20%, we haven't had no 20% of the Black vote like ever for a Republican candidate. Okay. But were there missed opportunities? And one of them that they said is that you kept propping up this certain type of conservative, and that type of conservative only speaks to this particular demographic. And the real problem that we're kind of having is because you like her.
Oh.
But in terms of if you want to reach us, you got a ton of us that don't. Actually, somebody gave a great example, one of the speakers, and she said, imagine if Will Smith and the Fresh Prince and his brother, Carlton, were both conservatives. Imagine if they're both conservatives. You cannot take Carlton to West Philly. He ain't gonna talk to nobody. Nobody is listening to Carlton in West Philly. But you guys kept propping up Carlton. So that was and those of us, the Fresh Prince people, we're here. We're available. So that was a very interesting session. It was very well framed by Maj Toure, who is the leader of Black Guns Matter, the creator of Black Guns Matter. He actually gave up his spot. That was supposed to be a keynote, and he turned it into a panel. He said, "Can I bring some of my friends?"
Awesome.
How awesome is that?
Yeah, humble.
If he hadn't, there would have been one Black woman represented the entire conference, and all she would have done is said the Pledge of Allegiance. Not a good look, actually. So, but thank God that he gave up his spot. But, they brought the heat. They brought the attitude. I had to talk to some of my white friends after, that was triggering to me. I don't like when Black women, okay, I get that. But that was also part of their point. You're interested in Black people that appeal to white people. What are we trying to do? You know what I'm saying? I thought we were trying to bring more in. So if we're going to bring more in, some of the more in that we're going to bring are going to have different behaviors and things like that really, as a community of conservatives, we have got to get used to.
Yes.
Maj Toure called that growing pains. He said there's going to be some growing pains today. because I'm asking everybody come on this stage and be themselves. And of course, they wouldn't have come if I wouldn't have. But and they were themselves, okay, and they went
I
there.
got it. I'm feeling what you're saying.
Exactly what I'm saying.
I'll put you laying down.
So when I mentioned this was confirmation to me, because I really feel that me and my 3 hosts on Black Conservative Female, I would call us centrists. I would call us in between Candace Owens and these ladies here. Angela Stanton, she would be, like, I'll say, my representative. Actually, Angela Stanton's a little more towards center than a couple of these ladies were. But anyway, we're even more toward what I would call center, which means I really believe we can speak to both. Listen, Candace doesn't even speak the language of it. She doesn't slip into it. It's not, she is who she is, and she stays in her lane, and she does an amazing job.
Yes.
Okay. So and like I said, I'm not one of those Black people that don't like her.
Right.
But then also, I can't remember the one lady's name, Sunny something, and then another lady. I should have preloaded with the names. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to put the link. They have their way, and that's where they stay. Now, Angela Stanton King can swing a little bit. But anyway, I really feel that the 4 of us are able to speak both languages. This is what I'm trying to say. We're bilingual, if you, so to speak.
So for those that maybe don't know what you mean by the 4 of us, because this is you're
actually we're on Black Conservative Female right now.
We are,
but we're on both.
Okay, awesome. Okay, but for any of my audience that's not familiar, who are the 4 of you?
Yeah, so I'm I would be the moderator for Black Conservative Female, and our other recurring hosts are Janice Gilmore Pons. These are all ladies I would recommend you follow on Facebook. They're incredible. Mikkel Barthélemy, and then we have Stephanie Trussell, and all incredibly accomplished women, really doing a lot in the social media space. All of them have larger followings than I have. So I am entirely honored. I'm just mentioning, I'm like so honored that these ladies come on with me every week. And
it's a terrific show. It really just is a terrific show. Congratulations. It's 1 year you've been doing that. Basically, it's Tuesday nights typically.
Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Right. And
you have some amazing guests from all over the world, and I love it. You pick out these unique people that we don't even think exist. I mean, isn't that kind of, I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Because there's so many like presets in our head of, oh, well, that person, I saw they have this sign in their yard, so this is who they are.
Yeah,
we label them to that level. You know what I mean?
And I just want to encourage everyone, please share this out, because it is really encouraging. Those of you, there's been several people watching that have been real faithful watching this whole thing. I just want to encourage you, hit that share button, watch party. The reality of it is, I know what is behind those comments. I don't take it as at all patronizing that people are like, just thank you for what you do. Like, man, you make me feel so much better. I know what that's about. I know, because sometimes, the people of color that you encounter have attitudes right now, and they're really looking at all white people as being a certain way. They're beginning to be very judgmental. They're beginning to be very condescending. And you start to just think like, God, I didn't think I was racist. I've never been racist all my life. Am I racist? I mean, am I crazy? I know. And what am I saying to you? I am saying that people of color are being trained to gaslight you, because America is not racist. And listen, there's something wrong when I say I have never experienced racism. There is something wrong that makes people angry. Why is that making you angry? You just proved that that's not what you're working for. And if that's not what you're working for, then you have just disqualified yourself. Not okay that that's not what you're working for. Okay? It is not okay that what you're working for, Black supremacy? What are you working for? No, you are immediately disqualified if you cannot be happy for me when I say that. And so when I started coming out saying that a couple of years ago and really making a lot of people angry, I've met many other Black people a lot. Now, I mean, I'm Gen X, so probably a lot of Gen X friends, but a lot of Generation X people have never experienced racism. Now, what's happening is a lot of millennials and younger are saying they have because the climate has changed. But it changed intentionally. What me and the other Gen X people have experienced was organic, of the peace and love and the civil rights movement and all the good work that was done, an intentional push to make America more friendly for everyone to truly be that melting pot, etc. And so what we experienced was the organic outflow of the civil rights movement. Many, many, many of us. But then you had Barack Obama to come in, and the atmosphere was intentionally changed. And if you would just Google or Wikipedia a color revolution, you will see a color revolution is not referring to black and white, because it's a historical term referring to things that have happened around the world.
That divide people, correct? Divisive, right?
Not out of skin color, but
right.
They're using the term color revolution because I'm a Jew and you're not. I'm a this and you're that. And so they found a way. They didn't have skin color to be able to divide, but they assigned people this role, and now I'm assigning you this role, and we're intentionally pitting you against each other in order, for power, control, wealth, these types of things. So it's not new what took place. It was a color revolution that took place in this country. So that's why you may have now, even, you would talk to my daughter, who would be that Generation Y, and she's had little things happen like me, but they were just more people. It was just like it was more insensitive or ignorant things people said. I'm sorry, that's not racist. And you know what else? It's not a microaggression. Get up out of here with your stupid terms. It's not a microaggression when somebody asks to touch my hair because they've never felt a black person's hair. That's not a microaggression. You know what? Get a therapist. I am sorry. That is ridiculous talk, okay? That is not racist, right? So if you don't prefer people touch your hair, you let them know you don't prefer that. I mean, that is an ignorance thing. But there are people who have never met black people. There are people who've never had a close friend that was a black person. So there are little things that happened, you know what I mean? And she's only really had that. But if I had socialized her differently, she would call that racism. See? So, no. And you know what? And to that point,
No, let's say that again. I'll say it again for you. If you would have socialized her differently, she would have called that racism. Exactly. I just want to pause on that.
Well, I'm gonna double down.
Go ahead. I just wanted to take that in because, well, I'm gonna let you double down, but I haven't had a lot of black friends. I really haven't. A few that, but I wouldn't even say close, but just in networking circles or whatever. You probably are my closest black friend. And I wonder if there are people that think, well, it's easy to be friends with Felicity because she's white. Or so, people do say this crazy stuff. That's like, what does that even mean? Now I'm going to let you take it back over. But it's this socialization. I really just have a lack of experience. I don't even know if I really ever was racist or wasn't. I just had zero experience,
that is a great point. And I do want to piggyback that for a minute. I heard a story when I was at CPAC. I mean, because I am like this, people will open up to me, and these are conversations that need to be had. She has a black neighbor, and she adores her black neighbor. But, ever since the climate has changed, this neighbor's changed a little. And so this white lady was talking to me. She said she was out, tanning one day in her backyard, whatever. And this black neighbor comes up to her. I mean, these people have been close for years. She cooks for her family.
Right.
I mean, the black lady will cook for the black lady's family. Yeah. She's a little older and whatever. So, And she goes to her, damn, you white. And she goes, yeah, I know. That's why I'm out here, you know? And she said, and she said, God made me that way. And she said, he didn't make you that white. What the hell does that? What does that mean? What? You know
What
what?
does that even mean?
I have no idea what it means, but it bothers.
How did you get that white?
I have no idea what her point was, but it bothers me that the climate has become such that she felt comfortable to do that. What is the matter with you? That you should not be comfortable to say that.
It's weird.
Weird. It's very strange. And
it makes me feel weird, and then it makes me wonder, am I racist? When I'm not, because it's like putting things in my head that aren't there. And it's just the opposite of what you were saying.
Gaslighting is?
Yeah.
See how deep the gaslighting is? That it's making us question things that we already know. It's not okay. Not okay. So, you know, I'm just gonna say this and be out here. So when I first, well, no, it wasn't the first time I mentioned it, but okay, around the season when I was first talking about that I've never experienced racism, I had met this girl who's a liberal, black liberal. I was on her show. It actually went very well, but I don't know if maybe she was mad later that she wasn't harder on me or something, because she started being weird on social in public. And this is going back to my, wait, did I make the point today? Or maybe it was last night on the show. But anyway, Black people are interested in social currency. It is a big deal for us. You know, people want us to be interested in financial currency because a lot of us need it. But what we are interested in is social currency. It's saving face. It's about how it looks in public. If you want to meet people where they're at, that's what you've got to know, what their actual motivation is, not what you want their motivation to be. So maybe that's why she changed on me and was started to be weird in comment sections and stuff. So, but anyway, somehow maybe my mom was commenting on some things that she had commented on, not political things.
Right.
And she got to know my mom, because sometimes my mom would put, when she comments, she'll put Felicity's mom or something. She'll put mom after, so people know who she is. Anyway, so she had made this connection with my mom. So anyway, I had talked about not experiencing racism, and she tags my mom on it. And she goes, she says something about, you know, Felicity thinks she's never experienced racism. I think that she actually private messaged my mom after one of these posts and was like, why does she think she's never experienced racism? We all have, da, 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 da. Wow. And so my mom says to me on social, has never said this to me in person. She's like, yeah, she's lying. She has. I was like, oh my God. We're going to do this here. Okay. We want to do this here. I said, you know what though? I just came out with, I was like, look, I was gaslit for 12 years in a marriage. I promise you're not doing this to me. Now, you want to talk about the socialization issue. Maybe I was 8 years old. Maybe we were in a store. Maybe something happened and you read it that way. See, that's a socialization issue. When I say that 8 years old in a store, I am making that up. I'm not thinking anything about. I have no idea what she's talking about, but I won't ask her either, because that was not the way to do it.
Right.
And B, I was gaslit for 12 years on a high level of gaslighting, not no baby crap. So I am not having someone tell me black is white is black, my hair is really orange, pink. Listen, I know what I know. You're not doing that to me. So I don't play that game when people try to change my reality for me for whatever their purposes are. All I know is, if, for example, if you and I, Jess, had just met and you were strange to me, I don't know if you had a bad day. I don't know if you're always a jerk. I don't know if you're racist. You cannot make that.
Right.
And so this is what I'm saying. Do we have a racism problem, or did we stop teaching critical thinking? Because this is just critical thinking that have I had people be mean to me? Yes. Have I had white people be mean to me? Yes. That is no correlation. I can still tell you I've never experienced racism, because racism is, and the fact that quite frankly, my parents don't know this is shocking to me. My mom had to get her first teaching job by calling in the phone book, and you used to be able to do stuff that way. And she did that because she knew that because of the area she was applying for jobs in, if she went in, she didn't know if she would get the job, but she knows she sounds white on the phone. So you're telling, that's racism. That is what is that called? That is systemic. It's in the system. It's jacked up. So systemic racism is real, but use your critical thinking skills and apply it properly. So I'm not going to say that a white person being a jerk to me is racism. I have no idea, unless
it could be, or it couldn't be. You don't know.
Unless they are repeatedly a jerk to me.
Right.
And then they begin to tell you, because in the 60s, they told you the problem. You didn't need a gift of discernment. So I'm not accepting these narratives. That's gaslighting to me.
And I think that people that have been gaslit in their lives for long periods of time are some of the people that are really having a harder time being quiet about what's going on in our country. I mean, just in general, I mean,
it seems like a gift.
It is a gift.
That we get to be the ones to speak out.
Fine.
I want to talk a little bit about that, but I want to mention, I want to backtrack just a moment, because I've never really thought of something Angela Stanton said on stage at CPAC, which is that you've got to put some identity in your politics. So I, like most conservatives, think identity politics bad. And certainly if you're picking the Department of the Health Secretary and they're the most unhealthy thing you've ever laid your eyes on, that is identity politics that we are not interested in. That's ridiculous, right?
And that's weird. That's just plain weird, that whole thing.
Plain weird. That's just plain weird. So we're obviously, there is an identity politics that is not of any interest. But what happened to me was when I met Kim Klacik and Angela Stanton back to back. Okay. I mean, I was not over meeting Kim Klacik. I wasn't over. I'm somewhat hyperventilating. I'm like needing a break. After I was on overload.
Is she as gracious in person as she comes across when I watch her on
gracious
video?
In person? Her manager is fantastic, and he's like, she will be on your show.
And she's sharp and she's kind, isn't she?
It's sharp and kind and way shorter. She's my height. She looks
like a
giant to me. She looks like a giant to me on that screen.
Okay, so her and then Angela too, like back to back.
Angela Stanton King is super tall.
Right.
She's as tall as she looks, but super kind, real like person. Oh girl, I love your nails. Look at you.
She's got cool hair. I love following her on Twitter. Like I love her Twitter feed.
She's amazing. So I was done.
Okay.
I was done. So I'm thinking, y'all, it was kind of close to the time of President Trump speaking. Y'all gonna have me in a room with a screen. I'm overwhelmed, and I'm going back to my room and I'm gonna watch on my computer. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not doing this. I wasn't even angry. And I realized when I got in the room, like I had met my Trump in a way. Do you understand? Because these women are doing in social and on media what I want to do. And these women just told me, thank you for what you're doing. I'm done. I'm overwhelmed at this point because there is such a thing as identity politics. Of course, it matters when you're a little girl wanting to be an actress and you see one of the first Black actresses get an Oscar. Of course, that means something, right? That's okay for it to mean something. So I realize there is a truth to identity politics that is, important, and we can play the game appropriately. Because what happened, say, when I was talking to somebody the other day, and maybe this will help be our segue, because this person actually was challenging me on
Okay.
the way that I have been on social media. So anyway, I said, but let's look at the example of Candace Owens and Cardi B. And she
Oh,
said to me, well, I would hardly call that a debate. I said, well, of course it's not a classical debate in that sense. Cardi B isn't bringing any brains. We know this is not an actual debate, right? But what am I telling you is this is exactly the point. Even you saying it's not a debate is my point. In the past, conservatives would see something like that as beneath them. And so what happens is you're not meeting people where they're at. I mean, look at how many the following Cardi B has. You are not meeting people where they're at, sheer
no.
number wise.
No.
So Candace Owens said, I'll do it, because she understands. And so she takes the girl on, of course, slaughters her to bits. But Candace Owens' following grew double digits off of that interaction. So it's the double digits that I'm talking to you about. That's what you're missing by not engaging in the social media space and not engaging. First of all, sometimes not engaging, then not engaging properly, not engaging at all. Double digits, Candace Owens increased off of that one interaction.
Let me ask you about that. So social media, you've been very active for years as a network marketer. Just you just have a lot of connections, and you just have a lot of interactions. You're in a lot of groups, you make a lot of posts, and you get a lot of attention. And honestly, that has just been one of your gifts from really before a time I saw more of a shift in politics. Not that you weren't always a conservative. I think
Right.
you have been for a long time. But more vocal, and obviously everybody has been paying attention more. But your posts are okay. I'm going to call them controversial at times, and not just because you might be sharing something that's being fact checked. I mean, a lot of people won't even bother with that, right? Like, why share it? It's just going to get fact checked, but then other people will know that I'm a conservative, and that they just don't want to go there. But you're just not sharing stuff. You're not just you're taking a stand, a position, using humor. Sometimes your tone can be rough, which I'm attracted to. But I think you probably also get kind of beat up by other Christians about this. So I'm just interested because I have a lot of my friends follow you now from our interactions, and like, well, I only really understand about half of what she's posting. Like, and I think that's kind of good, and there's certain things you do post. I'm like, okay, it's funny, but I don't really get it, I mean, so from that kind of stuff, that just kind of gets my interest to the tone. I mean, I know some of it's intentional, but some of it's just who you are. I'm interested to hear, like, how do you deal with that? People just have to be on you all the time.
Well, it's a fair amount, but I will say, I mean, especially coming from the Christian space, it
Ugh,
would be different if I was just a conservative, right?
right.
But people know me more from ministry, and so they've seen this transition take place. So, just having had, I had to have one of these conversations yesterday. Like I was talking about, I was mentioning to this girl about the Candace Owens thing, and about explaining about meeting people where they're at. My tone actually took a major shift last summer.
Okay.
Sometimes, and I would put what I do actually, honestly, in the prophetic realm. It's a new kind of
Mhm.
prophetic
Mhm.
realm, I would say. But God gives me things to post. These
Mhm.
really aren't, many of them aren't my thoughts. They're
Okay.
thoughts coming through me. And it actually started back with the COVID restrictions, but I didn't feel, I had the concerns that people are coming to me with. It didn't sound very kind to me, and I was concerned. I was concerned about my tone being that sharp. So so I'm doing a little, but there's
The little dance, the little one.
I'm hearing I should, but I'm doing some of it. I'm not doing all of it. So then over the summer with BLM riots, and then there was that sort of, it was like a fateful morning. I probably should look back and see what the date was, because it was like a life-changing day. God woke me up and he said, they burned your hometown. They burned your hometown. And I'm like, what? So I'm going online and I'm looking, and sure enough, Harvey, the downtown BLM, burnt up. Now, Harvey doesn't have a lot of room to fall. Like, we don't have nothing for you to burn.
I was gonna say, there's not much like really there. Unfortunately, it's pretty run down at this point.
Not much there. So, but that's where I grew up. That's my hometown.
Sure.
And I felt what God was saying. I was mad. And when I saw that, and God was like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm like, what am I going to do? What do you want me to do? Say what I tell you to say now. Okay, because, and I mean, I realized he had been trying to get me to do different things. So that's where the sort of that thing.
I didn't know this. I didn't know this part. This is
like, yes. So about 25 posts later, I'm like, it's like, whoa, I mean, they just kept coming with, I mean, I should look them up. I don't remember. I do have them saved somewhere.
I do remember there were a lot of videos, and I remember, but I got, we would get in and out of contact. I just don't think I realized the level that God was speaking to you about that situation. That why there was a level of obedience in this.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And they were sharp. They were cutting. They were like, how dare you, and stuff. They were coming from a heart of how dare you, you entitled, just, I mean, it just went there, you know what I'm saying? And so, so I just, that was when I kind of got in obedience about this. And I just kept receiving messages, a lot on the BLM thing. Again, this is not me really sharing things. This is me coming up with little phrases and posts and words from God about it. And, so, I mean, that lasted almost all summer, it was pretty intense sometimes. And then it sort of, shifted to the political realm more rapidly. But whenever I get a chance to go in on BLM, I do, But yeah, so getting approached about my tone, I shared with you a little bit before we got on the broadcast. I'm just going to say what's on my heart. So I went to my coach about it today because when people come to me, I guess the first couple of times, maybe I was on the defensive and I was kind of questioning myself. Maybe this third time, I really respected the person who came to me. And actually what happened, we had a good conversation, but what happened was I started pulling back a little bit. Like, I thought, I already know I can't not say what God's telling me to say, but let me see if I can say it a little bit of a certain way or whatever. So the Holy Spirit told on me to this girl who I just met, but she's like stronger than me online. Like, there's stuff she posts, I'm like, dang. I mean, because he didn't put it on my heart like that. She is like, bam, she cut your head off in one slice, like, bam. It's just, I don't know. She's just a little different. So, but God told on me. Seriously, that's exactly what happened. She didn't even see my post or nothing. She just texted me, what are you doing? What? Hey, you are you respecting other people? Are you respecting other people before God? Are you respecting other people? I didn't think I was. Stop doing that. She just went in on me. She's like, you say what he says. Don't you ever explain yourself. Don't you ever. She just tore me up. So I'm like, dang, okay. He just told on me for real. Because I was like, did you see what I posted this morning? No. I'm like, the Holy Spirit is just telling you, yeah. Because I was like, oh, that's why it sounded like that. Are you respecting other people? That's a weird way to put things. You know what I mean? She was just saying what God said. Are you respecting other people? respecting before God. I'm like, oh my God. So then I knew like the gig is up. You know what I mean?
All right, God, we're going to do it your way.
I can't, it doesn't matter what anyone says to me.
So
So
you're not that uncomfortable with it, are you?
no,
It's more
not
about
even,
people that you care about, that you want to respect, that come to you, right?
yeah.
So I post stuff and then I'm like, oh, please
Yeah.
don't comment back.
Yeah. So like yesterday, see, me and this friend, we really respect each other. And this is not the first thing we've disagreed on.
Sure.
So we have a good relationship to be able to talk about this.
Good.
And so first, we kind of went through, why did you post that about the COVID vaccine? So we went through some of that. But when it came to the politics, and she just said, and with that and with the other, the tone was just kind of mean. And she's like, I even checked myself, sent it to someone else without your name. And I said, doesn't that seem mean? I mean, what do you think? And they were like, it's mean. I was like, okay, cool. So, you know, when people come to me, I feel like I want to just explain the situation. I feel like I'm not anymore trying to justify myself necessarily, but I'm just trying to explain the situation. But when I went to my coach, I said, it really makes me angry though, because I feel like it's inappropriate for I feel it's inappropriate to ask a warrior, are you being nice enough? You know what I mean? Because I feel like God has placed in me to be a warrior in this situation. Like, look at the atmosphere around you. We have never lived through days like this. The ridiculosity, the force with which they are trying to tear down godly institutions and principles and things. It is bombastic. It's never ending. It's forceful. It's in your face. It's not a slight. There's no slighting. It's slap, bam, sit down, B. I mean, that is what they are doing to us. I don't, if you don't see that as the church, I don't understand you. Like, we're in a different place. They are talking to you like a pimp talks to
They're not paying attention. They're obviously not paying attention.
They're not paying attention. So in this atmosphere, warrior mode is appropriate.
Yes.
And it's exactly why I was explaining it's why people sometimes have trouble with the Bible, because you read that Old Testament, you're like, what? Blood, guts? God ordered that? God said don't leave any, kill all of them. What is happening with the let your speech be seasoned with salt and da-da-da? So people don't understand timing. They don't understand seasons. There's a time to be born. There's a time to die. There's a time to kill. There's a time. And so I'm I wouldn't mind that this isn't for the rest of my life this season, but this is a sliver. This is a moment in time that I'm doing this. So I don't know if maybe I was justifying myself a little bit, because when I told my coach, it just makes me angry. And so what I got out
probably just processing, girl. You're probably just processing.
I was.
And everyone needs to process.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's part of what you do as a coach.
When you're doing something you don't have training in, it's helpful to talk to somebody who's further ahead.
Exactly. Coaching.
So, exactly. So I'm just trying to figure out. And what I learned was it wasn't her being inappropriate. It was me being inappropriate. My posture was inappropriate because I haven't been able to talk to anyone about this necessarily. So I was able to say, you know what I feel like saying? I feel like saying, baby, just go back to sleep.
Oh.
I fight so you cannot, because she was saying, I'm probably going to get off Facebook. It's just getting too blah, blah. See, it's okay. I am not telling you to be me.
Right.
But I'm saying if I can respect, maybe you're a nurse in the battle. You're a nurse. You got compassion. You do triage. But I don't judge you. I don't say that you're a part of the problem because we got bloodshed happening out there and you want to get off Facebook. I don't care. You're hearing from God. I'm just asking you to respect me, that I hear from God as well. There is room in the body of Christ for warriors.
Amen.
So that's what I'm saying. I was feeling like it's inappropriate for you to talk to me like that, because I just want to say to you, baby, just go back to sleep. I'm out there fighting so you can sleep and you can be off Facebook and you can just say, everything's all this way. You don't have to do the research. You don't have to know about the blood going on out there. Just forget it. You want to go to sleep, go to sleep. I'll fight for you. But go to sleep and leave me alone is what I feel like saying. So he let me know that sometimes people both desire leadership and are frightened of leadership at the same time. But he helped me to posture properly to say, no, you're the leader in the situation.
You are.
You're the leader. Now, he said, I wrote this down. He said, criticism is childlike. Why? Because a child will, in their frustration, why, and they need something from you, but because they're a child, they may not come to you in a way that is helpful to get what they need done. You know what I mean? Like, you need me, but you're pissing me off also at the same time. So you have to train your children not to piss you off when they also need something, right? But so criticism like that is childlike. You need me, right? But you're coming to me with this critical attitude because you don't know that you're supposed to humble yourself and say, I don't really understand what you're doing. Because this same person said, I was so proud of you when you first started coming out and being so vocal. So that was the acknowledgement that you're my leader. I am proud of you. But now at the same time, I'm frightened of where you're leading me to. So now I'm going to try to control you. That's the principle. Actually, he's got me reading stuff. I suppose this is in Freud or Jung or something to understand the fear fantasy interplay. We have this fantasy of a leader, but then we have fear of where are they taking us. I don't like how you're doing that. I don't like how you do. Look, I'm the leader. You don't even see what I see. You are behind me. You don't even know what's happening.
Right.
So don't be, you cannot.
I love it.
I can listen to you because I'm not unkind, but you cannot advise me because I'm in front. You could just give me, well, this is how we feel back here. Okay. And then I can help you. But see, I can't help as well if I don't see myself as a leader in the situation. Now, the way that this is applicable for everyone is the reason why some people are having real problems online is because they keep freaking out about the illogic of the other side. You have a ideal. I'm a logical person. You're a logical person. We can agree to disagree. We should just be able to talk.
Right.
But unfortunately, that is not what is happening. So if you don't understand that you're the leader, Yes, there is right and wrong. I know they don't think they're wrong, but you have to have your head on straight, which goes back to the gaslighting. You have to know black is white, right from wrong. You have to keep your head on and say, okay, listen, I don't have to be judgmental, whatever, but I have to know what's right for me. Now, for me, their opinions, a load of crap, hogwash, bull crap, okay? And so you're not coming to me with information because, I'll tell you another thing is a lot of conservatives and definitely a lot of minority or newer conservatives, I know you could do this. If I'm in an argument with a liberal, I could say what I want to say, and then I could say what you're about to say, and then I could respond to that, and then I could say what you're about to say. See, that is not an even conversation. If I know everything you know and you don't know what I know. So it's not the normal where we just sit and learn from each other. Now you could tell me your story and I could find out why your brain really kind of isn't working to be able to figure this out.
Right.
It's not an issue that you have something to teach me. That's not where it is. So people want to see it as something different. So I was improperly posturing in these situations because I wanted to see it as something different. But what the actual reality is, I am the leader.
Yep.
And that's the bottom line. Now, as a leader, I know how to help people. I know how to help a follower if they're having a hard time. It's just I have to have the posture right to be able to do it right. if a parent who the child needs training is explaining themselves, and actually you're seeing this today because people don't know how to parent. So if they're explaining themselves, oh honey, it's this and that, there are times you have to tell that child, no,
Right.
just let's go. Why,
Right.
mommy? At 3, you cannot possibly understand. Get in the doggone car.
Right.
They're never going to understand life. But some of us are treating the other side like adults when they're not in their makeup of their understanding, their ability to understand. So, so he helped me again to get my posture right. Now, where we're taking this further, he really believes it's Christian duty. It is our responsibility to at least be aware and to support, even if we all have a different function, but everyone must be aware and support, because he's really down the road of this, and he really sees where he is leading people to, and it affects the way he talks to people, when he gets criticized and stuff like that. So I have further to go in this arena. But
Well, I just know you will be. Well, you already are that type of leader, but there's a deeper level of claiming that identity within yourself that I see in you after this weekend. Even it's really just coming into who God already sees you to be and knows you are, and he's putting you in bigger circles with more leaders and more people that know who they are to continue to impact more people. So this is really awesome. Well, not last, but I know we've been on for a little while now. I'm wondering, is there anything else from the weekend that you just want to share? Or, you were talking a lot about favor, and I saw myself, somehow you got to see that president speak from the third row, and you don't have to talk about if it was just a sovereign, awesome, another piece of favor. But as we try to kind of wrap up, and hey, it's your show, you know how long we can go and how long we can't, but in honor of time, what else do you want to tell us about that weekend or your experience?
I'm glad you brought that up, and I think it can just kind of wrap up with the lessons there. I mean, yeah, so media was not allowed in that room. And so Stephanie Trussell from the show, also media, had put me on a group text with the other ladies that she'd made CPAC friends with. And so she texts on there, does anyone have a seat near them? And I was like, you're in the room? Are you in there? So remember, I'm in the hotel room at this point.
Right.
I said, you're in the room? She's like, oh, yeah. She's like, I'm sorry. She said, hey, past the media room, go to the left. Secret Service is letting media in. I'm like, okay. It's actually a long walk. It's almost 15 minutes from my room to getting back there. So, I kind of prayed about it just to make sure, because I kind of figured it wouldn't be
available
by the time I got there. But I felt from the Lord, no, go. So I hustle my butt. I get there. Sure enough, Secret Service isn't doing that anymore.
Oh.
So I get a sense, go to the other side. Now, a friend of Stephanie's who, is now a mutual friend, but I didn't think she really liked me. But we were getting along this weekend better. So she and actually,
what do we know?
And I had let her in line with me to register for media the first day, registration day. So she had cut a long way getting in line with me. Well, here we go. She's coming back from the bathroom, going back into the room. Now she's media too, and I don't know the story of how she get in there, but kind of probably the same way I let her in line. So for her expectations. So anyway, they're not letting anyone in. And so she goes all West Side on them. My whole purse is in there. My whole purse is in there. You got to let me back in there. You shouldn't have let me go to the back. I mean, I had to go to the bathroom though. I mean, you got to let. And then she's like, he recognized me, brother man. He recognized me. She went straight West Side on him. So anyway, and
that worked for her.
And it works for her. So the black guy, black Secret Service guy turns around And he goes, oh, yeah, she was in here. So they let her in. So I keep walking. So he says, she with you? She looks back and goes, yeah. So I'm in. So I'm in there. So.
But you got nowhere to sit down.
I don't have a seat. So
that's not awkward.
So the first seat we see, I go up. She says, yeah, this is my husband's seat. He's got a bad back. He's stretching his back right now. So I said, well, she's like, you can sit for now. So I sit looking around the room and scoping. God says, I have a seat for you. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So when he comes back, I stand up. I'm like, oh, this should be fine. So, there's the last row, but then there were just a couple seats on the actual wall for people that wanted to charge their phones or whatever, had put some seats by the wall. So there's an empty one. So I sit there. They were really far apart. There were only like 3 seats all across this big wall. So I'm sitting next to this lady. She doesn't say anything. It wasn't close enough to her to really ask, is anyone? She would have told me. So I sit. Okay, this is my seat, right? This girl is kind of crazy. She's like crazy, she's crazy like a fox. She's a millionaire, but she's like, so she's Indian. So she's looking at me thinking I'm going to be sympathetic to what, so she kind of starts going in on me. She scoots in her chair. She's like, so she's new to conservatism as well. So she's like, these conservative bees think they're so much better than the liberals. They're over here trying to get me kicked out because I don't have on the fancy sandals. I'm a effing millionaire. You're a $7 an hour hoe. She is going off.
Offended. She's all offended.
Totally offended, okay?
And you're just so happy to be in the room. But you're just
she's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, I know exactly. I understand what the words mean. I mean, what? You know what I mean? So she's like, yeah, how dare they? They don't know what I got. They don't know I run this, I run that. They don't know I own the owner of, I know the owner of CPAC. He's a friend and so-and-so's a friend. They don't know none of that. I'm a working woman. I'm a working millionaire. I got my sandals on. I don't care about them. Okay. So she's talking. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So they end all their preliminaries and then, Trump's late. Now, to me, it's not late because I've been to a rally for 3 hours after the start time. But he ended up starting about an hour 15 after it was supposed to be. So anyway, so they start, his rally music starts. So they start the music and she goes, you want to go closer? I'm like, yeah. So she starts walking. I just follow her. We get to the middle. We're standing by, everybody spreads out a little bit, kind of dancing, whatever. So we're standing by these chairs like they're ours in the aisle or whatever. Then a white woman comes, stands in front of us, and she's like, excuse me, I can't see that. So she goes off about her. She is just, this is a pit bull. And that's why I said in my post, like, I didn't have the moxie for this. This would not have happened if it was just Felicity. So, she has a gift, you know what I'm saying? It may be unrefined, but that diamond is in that rough. It's in there. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so they start announcing, ladies and gentlemen, the 45th, she goes, want to go closer? I'm like, yeah, she just starts charging.
What a warrior. She's a warrior.
Total warrior. So we get to the third row and it's not Secret Service. It's a CPAC volunteer. Sure. But they're like, what are you doing? You don't belong here. Get wherever you do. So whenever she talks to people, she gets right in their face. So I don't hear anything of what she says. But later she says to me, she said, B, I will cut you. I will get you fired. Do you understand? I'm thinking, thank God I didn't hear that. You're going to get us arrested. There is Secret Service here. You know what I'm saying? So I guess the lady says to her, I'm taking a picture of your badge. I'm getting you kicked out, But she said, make sure you find out if Matt Schlapp knows Sonny. I forget her last name.
Okay.
She said, make sure you find out if Matt knows me. So that lady actually never came back because she does really know Matt. They actually had an interaction because somebody tried to kick her out before. And so Matt said, you leave her alone and da-da-da. So anyway.
Drama.
So we're sitting we're standing by this chair in the third row. There's 2 rows right by the gate before the stage. And then there's a little bit of space. And then there's this third row here, but they're all gold seating.
Gold.
Yeah, gold covered, with the pretty stuff.
So
anyway, so the guy whose seat that was talking to a friend, and then he had got up and was coming back. So he sees us standing there, and she goes, "You cool?" And he goes, "Yeah." So he just kneels back down by his friend. So she said, "He's cool with us sitting here." I'm like, okay. I am in your world, okay? I am in your world. So we share this chair.
He's got a butt cheek on the chair.
The lady who's supposed to be guarding this section has gone trying to discredit her. So there's nobody guarding this area.
Yes. Everybody's too busy being offended, but bottom line, while everybody's all crazy, you're like, oh, and then you heard the music, din, 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 right?
Then you get the proud to be American, he's coming out.
Right?
Oh my God. So yeah, so we're sharing this seat. We're getting all these awesome pictures, but then the lady sitting next to us looked a little younger, and she was kind of getting bored because he spoke a long time.
He did, about an hour and a half.
It seemed like he was trying to show off, like, yeah, Biden can't pull off 15 minutes. I'm going to go on you, right? But anyway, she gets up in the middle and just leaves, right? So now we've got 2 seats. We got 2 seats. I mean, it was just really, really, an incredible experience.
Cool.
And, he gave that rallying cry that we all, needed. He has that je ne sais quoi. He has that way of moving an entire crowd to really feel special, important, and that the best truly is yet to come. So I really feel that. So this is what I wanted to say in wrapping up. I feel that, basically, the most important moment in a superhero movie is when that superhero announces who they are. I am Diana of blah, 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 of Theopolis, da, 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 everything she said in that first movie, and whenever they announce, like, I am this, when Tony Stark realized, no, I am Iron Man, he said that at the end of the movie. It's always the most important part of a superhero movie, that you have to claim your identity. And so that's really what happened to me this weekend. And even God kind of pushed me further, introducing me to someone like Sonny, who's, even bolder, even stronger. I mean, I'm not saying, that it's rough around, but that confidence. I belong here. What are you telling me I don't belong? I belong here. You know what I mean? And she had all her reasons she belongs, but that would have been me, though. If you would have told me you're not supposed to stand here, it's basically saying you don't belong here. And I'd have just been like, hey, yeah, I don't even belong in this room. But wait a minute, God said. What did God say? So man could say, I didn't assign you that seat, but what if God assigned you that seat?
Man.
There would have been a seat empty in the third row. I don't think Trump would have been blessed. A speaker, especially high powered, they want every seat full. They know there's enough people there. That was on your organization. There would have been an empty seat in that row in the middle of his speech if we hadn't gotten there. God had assigned us a seat. And so that's something I take with me. I know who I am, and it comes from the Father. And he tells me what I possess. If he tells me something's mine, it doesn't matter if man says it didn't. It doesn't matter if I didn't even pay for it.
Right.
But if God said he gave it to me, then it is mine. And I have to approach it with the boldness, that I saw that weekend, with the veil lifted off of my personality, and just all that assurance that I am God's leader
You
for
are.
the moment. And
Such a time as this, girl.
such a time
Such
as
a time as this, and it's freedom. And not only are you fighting for our freedom, even if some people just want to stay sleeping, but you also yourself got freer this weekend,
yeah,
spiritually, emotionally, and just stronger in knowing who you are. So I can't wait to see your upcoming guest list. You, I'm sure, have a lot of people to confirm with and a lot of scheduling, but
pretty
you've
much
been busy. I mean, we went to
everyone you saw me in a picture with has agreed to be on the show.
oh yeah, I'm not surprised at all knowing who you are. You sometimes we're just the last to know who we are, you know. So I mean, yeah, I don't think anyone would want to turn down an interview with you, but I can't wait to see the people that we've heard of and the people that we haven't. And I know you're going to be doing a show on the Second Amendment and more on gun stuff too, aren't you? A little bit
Yeah,
more. I'm excited.
we don't have that one scheduled
Not
yet.
that one's not yet.
That's in the works. It's
Well,
still, but
okay,
they were the first ones I reached out to. I just
cool.
felt like God wanted
Yeah,
to do a girls and guns show.
yeah.
So that'll be happening very soon. And I just want to mention on Friday at
Okay.
12:30, Stephanie Trussell asked if I'd like to unpack our experiences
Yes.
in CPAC. And so that's going to be very engaging. That'll be Stephanie Trussell and I, 12
This Friday, the 5th.
Friday.
Right.
We'll do kind of another one of these, but we have probably get more in the political
Good.
realm as well, and some of the things we thought about and learned, and you'll just get to hear her fun and unique perspective on
Oh
it.
yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, she's just a real sound voice. I'm really excited to hear more about that because that's what I thought some of what we were talking about, but that's what I love about God because I got all this other awesome stuff that out of you that I didn't know and all these healing stories. And now I'll tune in Friday to hear more about what it was like for both of you in that political scene.
Absolutely. Thank you so much,
Thank
Jess,
you.
for taking on the role of interviewer. It really put me in a different place
Mhm.
to be able to just, sit back and not have to think about driving. So, really, yeah, it's a real thing. So I really appreciate you. Thank you, all of you watching. Thank
Yes.
you for the likes and shares.
Yep.
Thank you for receiving Jess and I. Jess and I have more upcoming. God just continues to have us circle around each other and give us projects to work on. So whenever you see me with Jess, I say, make sure you're there. Make sure you're available. It's going to be good.
Have a great day, everyone.
All right. Bless you.
Bye.
Bye.